Breaking news, y'all. NBA superstar Jaylen Brown, who has won an NBA championship, his father was arrested for attempted murder after an apparent parking lot dispute. I'm going to read y'all this article from TMZ Sports. Shout out to TMZ for breaking this news. It says Boston Celtics superstar Jaylen Brown's dad, who's a former professional boxer. Hold on, stop. Jaylen Brown's dad is a former professional boxer? I didn't even know Jaylen Brown knew his dad, because every time you hear Jaylen Brown talk about his family, he's either talking about his mom or his grandmother. So he must not have a close relationship with his dad, because I've never even heard Jaylen Brown acknowledge his dad, bro. So his father is a former professional boxer. Holy shit. It says Jaylen Brown's dad, former boxer Marcellus Brown, was arrested for attempted murder after allegedly stabbing a youth football coach in a dispute over a parking spot. TMZ Sports has learned. This is a nigga moment. For those, if you guys watched the TV show The Boondocks back in the day, this is the perfect scenario of what a nigga moment is, bruh. When a nigga loses control, reacts off of anger and emotion, and completely crashes out, right? If you are black in America, you have a high possibility of doing this, man. It's just in our DNA, man. I've done it before. I'm not proud of it. Had to take 8 hours of anger management, and I can honestly say that is one of the best things I've ever done in my life, is taking 8 hours of anger management. Because listen, man, when you walk outside that door and you go into the world, bro, there is always going to be somebody out there that is going to try to piss you off and start a confrontation with you. But you have to be able, especially as a man, to control your anger, control your emotions, and learn how to walk away, bro. Las Vegas Metro Police is investigating a stabbing that went down at All-American Park on Wednesday, stating 2 men were in a verbal altercation over a parking spot when the subject stabbed the victim in the stomach. Holy shit. So Jaylen Brown's dad stabbed his football coach in the stomach. Holy shit. According to the arrest report we obtained, the alleged victim's girlfriend told cops that Jaylen Brown's father parked next to them and dinged their vehicle with the door of his Lincoln Navigator as he got out. See, like I said, this stuff happens every day, bro. I can tell you guys a scenario where I was literally parked up in my car. I had no cars parked to the left or the right of me. This chick pulls up next to me in the truck, just like Jaylen Brown's dad did. And the girl in the passenger seat, because the person driving the truck parked badly and parked too close to my car, she opens the door and hit my car, then said sorry. Then she closed back the door, opened it again and hit my car door for the second time, said sorry again, then told the girl she parked bad. Then she hit my door for the third time. I had to put the window down. I said, ma'am, just stop. I said, close the door. Let me just back up and leave, because you just hit my car 3 times. You keep saying sorry. Just stop. Close the door. Let me back up. Let me leave. And I left, literally left that entire area. I think I ended up just going home because I was so pissed off. But this is the type of stuff that happens every day, bro. People are parked next to you, hit your car. Sometimes they won't even say sorry, If they say sorry, it makes it a little better. But, Jaylen Brown's dad was driving a Lincoln Navigator. So him opening the door on somebody's car, that can scratch your car door. That can leave a dent in your door, Plus, Jaylen Brown's dad, from what this article says, is 7 feet tall, 300 pounds. If he's opening that truck with full force, it could seriously leave some damage on that person's vehicle. So it says the woman stated the coach, identified as Cross Tupiola, then got out of his car to check out the damage, but Brown brushed it off and said it was simply a bump before calling him a bitch ass and walking away. Wow. So Jaylen Brown's father, he opened up his Lincoln Navigator, right, with full force, caused damage to this coach's vehicle, right? Tried to scratch it off before he could see the actual damage. He tried to scratch off whatever was on there and said it was simply a bump, and then called him a bitch ass as he was walking away. So Jaylen Brown's father started this whole situation. He started everything. You hit their vehicle, you didn't apologize, you tried to scratch it off, and then you called them a bitch ass as you walked away. I can see why Jaylen Brown doesn't have a relationship with his father. Seems like his father is a piece of shit. It says, after a back and forth, the woman claims the two agreed to duke it out, which means they agreed to fight. So Jaylen Brown's father and this coach agreed to fist fight each other. And it says, but when Tupiola's back was turned, Jaylen Brown's father pulled out an object from his right side and swung his arm in a stabbing motion, striking the coach in his back. Holy shit. So guys, listen to this. Is crazy, bro. Listen to this shit. Jaylen Brown's father, who is a former professional boxer, he's 7 feet tall, 300 pounds. He agreed to fist fight this guy who he hit his car with his truck door, right? The guy's back was turned. Jaylen Brown's father decided to pull out a knife and stab this guy in his back, bro. Unfucking believable. The woman states Brown, who is 7 feet tall and 300 pounds, used his left arm to grab Tupiola's right shoulder and stabbed him several more times in the abdomen. She says the coach initially tried to fight back before attempting to run away, and Brown chased after him. So listen to this, guys. After he stabbed this guy in his back when his back was turned, he stabbed him a couple more times in the abdomen. Then the coach tried to fight back before attempting to run away, and Jaylen Brown's dad was chasing after this guy to keep stabbing him. So this sounds like attempted murder. This don't sound like no self-defense. Even though you guys mutually agreed to fight each other, which they admitted, you stabbed this guy while his back was turned. You stabbed him a couple more times. And then when he tried to run away so you could stop stabbing him, you chased after him. It says eventually the woman said Tupiola, who's only 5'9", 160 pounds, so he's half of Jaylen Brown's father's size, got in the car and they drove off to call 911. According to the report, he suffered stab wounds in the upper right chest clavicle area, a defensive wound on his left hand that penetrated his tendons, holy shit, and a slice wound that necessitated a partial gastrectomy to remove part of his digestive system, eviscerated bowels, and a broken right rib that may require surgery to repair. Holy shit, bro. This guy suffered all type of injuries, man. It says he's in critical condition and in the ICU. Jaylen Brown's father better hope this guy survives, bro. You better hope this guy doesn't pass away. It says when cops caught up to Brown, they observed abrasions on his knees and his face was bleeding, and spontaneously stated the whole ordeal was sparked over a door ding. Brown also received treatment at the hospital for a broken toe, scraped knees, and an abrasion on his right cheek. Officials also spoke with several witnesses who claimed they saw the whole thing, and one even graphically claimed he could see the victim's insides hanging out. Jesus Christ! When he lifted the front of his shirt. Several witnesses also state Brown did not act in self-defense and struck Tupiola first, which means that, yeah, he stabbed this guy in the back while his back was turned, and that's pretty much what started this whole ordeal. According to the report, the weapon used in the incident was not recovered, so that means that he pretty much got rid of the knife that he used to stab this guy to pretty much try to save his own ass. It says Marcellus, who made his boxing debut in 1989, had a 33-18 record. Okay, that's not too shabby, with 25 knockouts in the ring. So out of his 33 wins, 25 of his wins came from knockouts. So why is this guy stabbing people? Obviously, you're good with your hands. Obviously, you were a decent boxer. You had 25 knockouts out of 33 of your wins. You had 18 losses. Why the hell are you pulling a knife out the... Like, bro, Jaylen Brown's father pulling a knife out makes me think that he tried to end this guy's life. I'm just going to call it what it is, man. You know, you agreed to fight this guy. You're bigger than him. You had all of the advantages. You're a former professional boxer. And you decided to use a knife and stab this guy. Not once, multiple times in multiple different parts of his body. Jesus Christ. They said the last time he fought was nearly a decade ago. Our sources tell us Jaylen doesn't have a close relationship with his father. It was unaware of the arrest or the incident. Shout out to Jaylen Brown, man. Jaylen Brown clearly doesn't have a relationship with his father, because from me reading this article, Jaylen Brown's father is a piece of shit, man. And Jaylen Brown not having a close relationship with him is probably for the best, bro. Jaylen Brown is a genius. He could have graduated from college and became a scientist or some shit. I've heard that Jaylen Brown like has the highest IQ out of everybody in the NBA right now. Like, the guy, you know, he was so good at school that people couldn't understand why he wanted to play basketball, because he could have easily became like a scientist or some type of other shit where he could have made a lot of money as well. So shout out to Jaylen Brown. He turned out to be very successful. He's an NBA champion. He won the Finals MVP, Eastern Conference Finals MVP. Shout out to Jaylen Brown, man. It says in 2016, Marcellus opened up about his kids, saying that he's extremely proud of both his sons, especially proud of Jaylen Brown. He says he is an extraordinary athlete and very smart. Oh, man, bro. What do you do if you're in Jaylen Brown's shoes? You already don't have a close relationship with your dad. You pretty much became successful without him. What do you do in this situation? You know, do you help your father hire a top of the line lawyer to pretty much try to get him out of this situation? Or do you let your father, who's a grown-ass man that you're not close with, do you just let him deal with the repercussions of his actions? What do you do if you're Jaylen Brown in this situation? I wonder if Jaylen Brown is going to speak on this, because you guys already know whenever the NBA season starts, they're going to ask Jaylen Brown about this. Even though it has nothing to do with basketball, they're going to ask him questions about this, man. And I'm interested to see what Jaylen Brown has to say about this. Let me know what you guys think about this, man. This is your boy Stay Wavy TV. It's your boy Wavy. Make sure y'all subscribe, thumbs up the video. I'm not gonna lie to y'all, bro. Like, this article shocked me, bro. Like, I never knew Jaylen Brown's dad was a professional boxer, because I've watched multiple interviews from Jaylen Brown, and whenever he talks about his family, he only talks about his mom and his grandma. I've never heard him talk about his dad. Like, you would think that Jaylen Brown had like a LeBron James type of upbringing. You know, LeBron James never met his father before. But the fact that this guy's dad is a professional boxer who had a decent record, why doesn't he have a close relationship with his dad, bro? It's just, I don't know, man. I think there's a deeper story to all of this, man. So it's your boy Wavy. I'm out.